what I'm doing now is like acting like a little boy on a big playground, a big pile of sand and doing some crazy stuff out of it. And don't give a shit if it breaks down or not. So I'm really the guy who wanna push the limits and going the extra round and the extra mile and doing some extra work to get something interesting. This is me. I mean, a vineyard itself, it's a monocultural system, and this is maybe the worst system what you can farm. Here is our wine since 2000 years planted on this hill, so we need to break this system a little bit at least. That's why we ripped out a complete row here and planted in the area here around 100 new trees. And with the cover crops, what you see here, there's always something flowering, so the insects have a lot to do. Everything what you see, you have also an action in the soil as well, in the root system. For this, we build up our humus, and this is, in times like this, also the best what you can do for your soils. So we had like last week a huge amount of rain with 60 mils in 20 minutes with a little hail. But what the humus is doing, so it's acting like a sponge, taking all the water and then releasing the water when the soil is dry and when the plants are needed them. It doesn't matter where you are on this planet, building up the humus is what we farmers need to do to protect our soils, to protect our plants and to have a future. I mean, it started everything nearly 25 years ago. We were a bunch of people traveling to the United States, the vintage 99. We had an amazing time there, and I went back home, started to work at the winery here in town. Had not much clue, got into it and started my own project with the vintage 2000 already. I was 20 years old. It was a complete different time than now. Like, we were doing red wine, of course, like we call it like the red wine, the gold rush of red wine from Austria. Like, everybody was forcing like to make something unique, still in the Bordeaux idea, trying to make a Zweigelt bigger as it was. We were using barrique, long maceration times. Yeah, great wines for this time. Then with the years of experience, doesn't feel very comfortable anymore and was always on the search for something new, there need to be something else, something more real, or I don't know what it was. The whole biodynamic thing started for me in the winter 2005. We had a bad year 2005 with a lot of rain at harvest. A lot of botrytis, and I lost like at this time 50% of the crop. And my neighbor was an organic farmer, and then I had another neighbor was biodynamic already. And at this time I was still spraying conventional things, what I learned in school, and this time, yeah, had no other clue. But then I saw like these guys have like also only lost 50%, not more. So why I should spray some bad things on my wines and grapes when the result is pretty much the same. And then I start reading a lot. Then I start trials already with the manure from my father, from the horses. And then we get a group together in Austria, what started like a training program for 3 years, teaching and learning biodynamics. So we had like a group seminar once a month, and then the guy, Dr. Andrew Laurent, was a guy who taught farms, not only grapes, like even vegetable farms, huge agricultural farms, converting to biodynamics in the States for over 30 years, and then moved back to Europe. And then we started like this training program with him. This was like the best teacher what I had in my life. Everything started from new, like the whole idea of farming, and we start spraying the tea preps and the biodynamic stuff. Start to spray with an ATV instead of a tractor. From there on I was into it, and you can't get out of it anymore, I think. So this is a 2-year-old compost. It's out of cow manure, horse manure, and everything like the leftovers from the winery itself, like all the stems. Just imagine like you get something like what smells like you walk through the forest, and before it was like pure cow shit, stinky one. And these we prepare with the biodynamic compost preps, and then it's ready then to bring it out in the field after the season, in winter time or in spring then, when the soil allows us to go through. So here you see the root system much better, what the plants are doing, these fine little roots. You get a lot of air into your soil, and all these little dots here, they are full with nitrogen. So you don't need to break the soil with machines. All the roots from the plants can do this as well, much better than every machine. And you also see like it's not compact, it's like pretty, like there's a lot of air in between, and the smart winemakers do this already a lot, because in the end it's even the cheapest way to protect your soil. For me, this time I think I got trained to act like a diagnostic doctor. So when I go or stroll through the vineyards, you get a feeling if something is missing, or if anything is right, or is it balanced, the vineyard, or can I help the vineyard with something. And this is, I think, the main difference between being only organic farmer. In biodynamic farming you can help with so many things to get back in balance with your soils and with your wines, and this is what I think the most important thing in biodynamic farming, to balance out different things in the growing season. And this is an amazing work what we can do. And this is still fascinating every day. So we are here on the Goldberg in Gols, where the winery is located. 9 different parcels, and one of them is one of the oldest organic farmed vineyards in Burgenland. So this is converted already in '92. It's an old Blaufränkisch, what I still do separately in the cellar. Yeah, so this is like a little bit of history here, what we have in our hands. I'm coming from the love of Pinot Noir, what I still have, to be honest. And now it's I'm on the edge point where I say Blaufränkisch and Pinot. Yeah. Sometimes it's more Blaufränkisch, sometimes it's more Pinot. But yeah, we will see in the end. My kids love already Blaufränkisch, so we'll see where we end up. The benefit of these guys here, these concrete eggs from France, is you have a constantly batonnage effect. So with the golden shape of the egg, the vessel itself has no corner, so the liquid inside is always moving. So you have an effect that the lees is always in the liquid, and you get this batonnage effect without doing any batonnage. And this is pretty cool, I think. So the thing why I started to work with Amphoras was easy thing because I was annoyed of tasting every wine with a heavy amount of oak or oak influenced flavors. So in my idea of a wine with the most purity, I couldn't work with oak anymore, so I was searching for something different. And then I got in contact with Georg and Amphoras, started to work with Kvevris, and then from that point on 2010, and I was impressed at this time. Very long macerations that I did in Georgia for, I don't know, thousands of years. But then from this point already I started to search and find my own identity of doing this kind of wines and moved back a little bit the amount of skin fermentation. I have like 30% of my wines are out of clay amphoras. I use different ones, not only Georgian ones, French ones, Italian ones. What I still like about it, you get the purity of what you fill in, you get out as well. So the impact of the material where you ferment and mature the wine, it's just a little bit. You have the micro-oxidation of the vessel itself, but you don't have a huge impact on the flavor side. And then in the end, it's a big puzzle in my cellar. I try to work out everything differently. We pick the plots differently, we ferment it differently, and then you have like 100 different pieces of this puzzle. And then I put together my blends, and there you get like an idea where you get more reduction, you get more sweetness, there you get more flavor, and this is how I act as a winemaker in the cellar. So to put my cuvées together, I need all these different tools. Sunday evening we had here a massive rain with a little or a big hail as well here in this vineyard, especially in Gols, here on the Goldberg and Altenberg, and you see here already the damage. Like the leaves look like you shot with a shotgun into the vineyard. So everything is destroyed. But the biggest problem is here on the grapes. You see a lot of damage here, and not even the berries are broken up. The stem is broken, and to get any ripening, because it's like they're breaking immediately here when you push a little bit, and yeah, we don't know how much grapes we will get in the end here. And even the damage is done for next year. You see how the wood is damaged here. Here you get very easily infections with mildew. It looks like you can save a crop here like 50%, but in the end, I don't know if this will be in any quality. Everything what we did already, like we talk about a lot of like soft pruning, you see the cover crops here. We do a lot of main work here, hand work, but all your investments are gone in a minute of hail. Of course you will get a wine out of it, but it will be out of balance. It will be stressed. Normally you get a lot of reduction into the wines. You get bad tannins. You get a lot of tannins because the wines start now to protect themselves. But these tannins are not this what we are searching. We search for soft tannins. We search for balanced wines, and yeah, here we are already struggling at the beginning of the ripening season. But this is what we need to deal. When you are a farmer, you know these situations. It's not the first time I have problems like this. We had already a little frost in spring, and what I heard from many colleagues all over Europe, from hail to drought. Now we can talk a lot about all these positive things, but I want to show you this as well, because it's an important situation what we need to deal nearly every year. And with climate change, these things are coming even more and more. It's not that climate change, that only it's getting warmer every year. No, like the pendulum is switching in every direction, even more and more. When it's raining, it's heavy raining. When we have dry season, it's dry for a longer period. When it's hot, it goes up to nearly 40 degrees, what is a huge stress for the wines. The weather is out of balance in a lot of different directions now. Yeah, it will not be easier for the future. This is a 15-year-old Zweigelt vineyard. With climate change, we see Zweigelt gets a lot of problems. At harvest, we need to drop like at least 50% of the grapes because they have no power. So the wine itself is acting like it's pushing back the nutrients into the wine and get rid of some grapes. So this is my idea what the problem here is. Last year the vintage 23 wasn't that stressful. We get like rain at the right time, so it doesn't look like we will end up with a huge problem. But then in the end we went home with like 50% of a normal crop, and then I said to myself, this has not really a future, and so we start now to change the variety in most of these vineyards where we see a future. And in this case we did a crafting to a new variety, and this is Welsh Riesling. It's a white variety, a variety what is here a long time in Burgenland or even like in the Pannonian area. So it's a white variety with a very late ripening point, and I think it's very interesting to farm this variety here in this vineyard. So what we did here, you freeze some shots in winter time and put it in the cooling room, and a week ago we set in this little bud in here. This is a Welsh Riesling, and now the next week this bud will start to grow and you will get one shot for the next season. And then you can already have a crop next season when you do everything right. So we need to check the vines every week. We need to protect them because you only have one shot, and therefore you only have one chance. And a lot of deers are strolling through the vineyards at this time of the year. I mean, and what is better than a young shot to eat? So we need to look all the time after it, and it's a lot of work the first year. But when everything works well and we get a nice amount of rain, we already have the next year a little crop of this little Welsh Riesling here. Yeah, family is a very important thing. Since I have kids, this changed my life completely. So I spend all the time what I can get and find with my kiddies, and I love them. And what we have here with the winery and everything, this is a super playground to raise up kids and the garden, and they help and they see, they get the feeling about what we are doing, what honest agriculture could be. And when we raise them up, for them it's already the new normal. This is how we want to show them the world. When we talk about natural wine without working any additives in the winery, everything starts here in the field, in the vineyard. When you have to do your work here. We love to drink wines. We always say, wow, this is a lot of energy. But where is it from? It's everything happening here in the vineyard. You have a living product, and for this you need to do something. You cannot say, I let everything do it alone and just let everything go. It's a lot of detailed work what we do all year long, and in the end we get these results then with high energy. But this is happening in the vineyards and not in the winery. We can play this game only in the winery when we do our work here, and this is the only way you can do it. Boom. Die beste Sorte Wein, Trauben.
Das ist die beste Weinsorte? Ja, okay.
You know? They know.